Welcome to Random Talk. Today's topic is know who you are. And the reason I chose that topic is because it's all about me today. I have to tell you some real life experiences. I was just doing some self-reflections this week and I just thought about so many things. And I said, I have to tell the people, know who you are. But before we dive into know who you are, let me just tell you, what do I always say? We made it. Yes, we made it. Now let me tell you just a quick little thing about my son. He said that he got off work one day and he saved the random talks to look at when he got off work instead of looking at them before work. He said, and Mom, I have to tell you, it did something to me because I had a hard day. And as soon as I heard your voice say, we made it, he was like, yes, we did, because he made it through that long day. So I just feel good when people tell me that my voice and my thoughts are helping to get them through a day. Yes, that's what it's all about. So I want to encourage you that even if you are not feeling your best and even if you are not where you want to be in this world, still sprinkle a little sunshine. Give some people some happiness. You never know what people are going through, and that is why I always try to give someone a compliment. I try to say something nice to someone, when I see them, because you never know. That may have been the first nice thing they heard all week. So be a part of the world that gives a little sunshine. Do your work. That's your job. That's your homework. Sprinkle some sunshine. I'm sorry. Okay, so now we're going to jump into this topic, know who you are. Let me tell you, if you do not know who you are, people will try to shape and mold you into who they want you to be. Now, as a young child, I always knew who I was, but as time went on, I began to kind of doubt who I was as a person because so many people were in my ear trying to tell me who they felt I was based off what they wanted me to think about myself. That was a mouthful, so I hope it made sense. Let me say it one more time. People were telling me what they thought about me in hopes to make me believe that's who I was because that's who they wanted me to be. Because sometimes people can see the greatness in you and they will try to get that thing out of you because they do not want you to make your mark in the world. So let me tell you, and it's sad, but sometimes it comes from the people closest to you. So today's real life experiences are just coming from people that I have known. It's close family members, and then there are some that I have just met passing by. You get it? So first off, when I got pregnant, I was 19 years old. So for those of you that do not live in the United States, here in the United States, when you reach the age 18, you are considered an adult. You are a young adult, so that means that you get to leave your parents' homes. They're home. They can't tell you that you have to stay because you are of legal age. Now, you are not legal in this state to drink alcohol. Well, not on this side where I am until the age of 21. But nevertheless, you get the gist. I was an adult, a young adult, when I got pregnant at 19 with my eldest son. Now, I remember this so vividly. My aunt on my father's side, I remember her coming to the house. Now, instead of coming just to visit the baby and to welcome him into the world, she deliberately came to the house to tell me that I had ruined my life and that I was never going to amount to anything because I got pregnant and had a baby. Now, I got pregnant at 19. I gave birth at 20 years old. And I was just sitting there. Now, I'm hearing what she's telling me, but I'm not stupid. I look at people who had babies at the age of 15 and 16 because back in slavery days, people were having babies at 13 and 14. It did not it didn't depreciate them as a person. It didn't make them less of who they were. I saw people in my time having babies at 13, 14, 15, and they came out to be just fine. So I'm telling you, know who you are. You can listen to the foolery that people tell you, but it's your job not to believe it. Okay? That's the first thing. Now, the next thing is people in my family, and I mean my immediate family, the people that I live with, these are the people who should know me the best. It was everyone in my household. It was so often that I thought I was adopted. They hate for me to tell this story, but it is true because I have just been who I am. And I'm not a bad person. I love people. I love for people to be happy. But the one thing people don't like about me is that I am honest. and I am truthful, and I speak the truth about what I see. I do not live in denial. So in my household, and then other people in my family, and just people who get to know me, they have created me to be a monster. I am serious. I have been called the B word. I have been told that I'm ungrateful and I don't care about anybody. I have been told that I will just attack anyone with my mouth. Now, I did an episode to let you know that I had some swords to my words. I would cut people and chop them up with what I said. But most people who knew me well, they knew to get me to that point, you had to have said or did something to me. It wasn't like I was just going around saying that to any and everybody. So I would listen to their thoughts about me as a person. And it happened pretty much all of my life. And I would just listen to them. But then I would look to the other side of my life. People who knew me at work, people who knew me in my mentor settings and my volunteer settings, and everything they said about me was totally different. You have to know who you are. So I would listen to what my family said, but I just knew, I was like, they just don't know me. You don't know who I am. Let me give you another quick example. The reason I know they don't know who I am is because when I'm in front of this camera and they started watching, know who I am is because when they begin to watch Novelty Woman, and I start these episodes with "we made it," or I'll say "yay," I don't know, it's just my energy, it's my personality, that is who I am. I have had family come to me and say, "How do you do that?" I said, "How do I do what?" They say, "You get on the camera and you're just all excited and happy." I could only laugh. I said, because that is who I am. Now, who you see me to be is someone totally different. If you're giving me negative energy and dry energy when I'm in your space, how could I be excited? So I'm telling you, know who you are, because they are so surprised when they see me in this setting. Just like they would be surprised if they went with me to work events and they would hear how people spoke about me, or when people would go up to them and give them a compliment about me, they would look like, who are you talking about? I'm telling you, people will create you to be who they want you to be. It is just crazy. Speaking of crazy, let me tell you, that was something else I heard all my life from cousins, aunts, just family members, period. It was mostly family, but it was also people that I grew up with in school. They would say I was crazy. Oh, that girl is crazy. Why am I crazy? Because I speak truth. Why am I crazy? Because I will not stand here and allow you to disrespect me. I am telling you, know who you are. It wasn't like I was walking around with a gun on my hip shooting everybody, but I was standing up for myself. I was speaking up for myself, and I would not tolerate and allow people to disrespect me and no one else that was in my presence. That is me all day long. That's been me since I can remember, but people created that version of me to be crazy, and I never accepted that in my mind. So know who you are. Now let me look at my cheat sheet, because I had to keep these notes down so I don't miss anything. Can't succeed. Oh my goodness. Now I dibbled and dabbled in that when I got pregnant, and I told you my aunt told me I was not going to amount to anything. But when I was not able to finish high school, it broke me down to pieces. I had to put myself back together again with that, because I loved school and I had all these different visions of who I would be and what I would be doing. But I had people on one hand telling me, oh, it's okay that you didn't graduate. You're still going to do a great job at things. But then they would still use the same tongue and the same voice to tell me, well, you didn't graduate, so I don't know what you think you're going to do. How you think you're going to get a better job? Let me tell you, when I told you that I have my version of what getting to the top is, you have to have in your mind what your idea of success is. I worked my way from the bottom to the top everywhere that I have worked. I may go in as a cashier at a retail store, and within months they are telling me, I want you to work in the cash office to handle all the funding for the jobs. For the revenue that comes into this store. I started with the school district. I started out as a substitute teacher. Do you understand me? And I worked my way up with some college to the Board of Education, working with people that respected me for who I was. But I had people telling me on a regular basis, you didn't graduate. You only have a GED. You're not going to do anything. I didn't believe it. I paid it no attention, but I love to prove people wrong. So that's why I say, know who you are. Yes. Now, do you feel this energy I'm giving you about this topic today? It is because I am absolutely proud of myself. Now, I am not where I want to be in life, but I am not where I used to be in life because we criticize ourselves enough. So I say, don't let anybody else do it to you because it's hard enough to overcome the mental thoughts that we have about ourselves every day. So I'm telling you, exclude and dismiss anything anyone else tells you about yourself. And you know that it's two sides to the world that we live in. Understand that some people may say one thing about you. There will be others that will say something about you. And then you weigh your pros and your cons on that thing. You make sure you do not listen to one group of people, because sometimes people will try to destroy who you are because it intimidates them. It took me a long time to understand that. So I want you to know the energy that you see within me today is because I know that I made it. I know that I have created this version of myself to be who I am, because given what I had, the cards that I was dealt, I shouldn't be sitting here in front of you with a smile on my face feeling confident about who I am. So know who you are. Now, let me get into the next thing. I told you I got some examples for you today. So I was a tomboy. I told you in another episode what a tomboy is. I hope that you remember, but just in case you do not, a tomboy is usually considered to be a female person who does things that usually boys would do, or she may dress like a boy, and that was me all day long. I was out riding trick bikes, the BMX bikes, whatever my brother was doing, I wanted to do. I wanted to jump the fence. I wanted to build the ramps. I played basketball, football, kickball, baseball, softball. I was out there. I did gymnastics, but what I did not like wearing girl clothing. Now, my mother prayed for a girl. She wanted a girl. She prayed for a girl. And when she got the girl, she got a girl who cried to put on a dress. I cried. I could not stand those little ruffled socks and all of that they used to put on little girls. And so she finally stopped trying to fight the battle. And she just accepted me for who I was. And I love her to this day for it, because she never made me feel bad for the fact that I preferred to shop in the boy department rather than the girls department. But let me tell you what comes with that. I was told that I was gonna like women just because I was dressing like a boy. That's what a lot of people would tell me. Now, know who you are, because I didn't pay any attention because I knew who I was. Now, I want to give you an example. My mother saw this little girly outfit. I was maybe 12 or 13, and she bought it and she wanted me to wear it. She was like, please, it looks so cute on you. Please wear it. And I said, let me try it. I'm going to try it. I'm going to step outside my comfort zone. I put it on. It wasn't so bad. I was trying to, get a feel for it. And I went to walk around my neighborhood, and I remember this guy. He was a distant relative of ours, but he said out loud in front of a bunch of people, she's just gonna be a slut. What? Oh, I went home and I cried, and my mother was furious because she had to beg me to put that on. And as soon as I did, someone decided to prejudge me based off a pair of shorts and a t-shirt and tell me that I was going to be a slut. Do you hear me? And then my mother still reinstilled in me to say, know who you are, pay that ignorance no attention. And that is why I sit before you today knowing who I am, because what you see again is not who I used to be. Now on the weekends, I love it. I'll put on a pair of Nikes and some jeans in a minute. But when it comes to my day-to-day work day, this is what you get. But this wasn't always who I was. So even though I was a tomboy, I didn't care what people said about me because I knew who I was, and I still know who I am. It's important. That's your secret ingredient to life. Be able to be successful with knowing who you are. That's why some people get detoured in life, because they start listening to what other people are telling them about themselves. Don't do it. Take it from me. Know who you are, stand in it, and own it. Yes. So I hope that this energy that I've been giving you today on this random talk, I hope that it resonates with you. I hope that it helps you to understand to be proud of who you are. You don't need a big audience of people congratulating you and clapping for you. I'm telling you, my mother told me, as long as you know you're putting in the work, as long as you feel proud about what you're doing, you don't need awards. You don't need a lot of people telling you that you did a good job. You just know that you did a good job because you know who you are. So that's why I'm telling you today, today, I could care less what the naysayers say, because right now, no one would have expected me to be doing what I'm doing, but I did it right under their nose. Yes, I did, because I am who I am and I know who I am. So I'm going to close this random talk with letting you know, please know your talent, know your gift, know who you are, believe in who you are, and ignore anything that anyone else tells you, because you know on the inside that they're trying to destroy you. I lived through that and I'm still going through it right now, but when I say it just rolls off me, it's like I have a repellent. It just rolls off me. It doesn't bother me anymore, and you are going to get to that point if you are not already there. But it comes with mind over matter, and it comes with heart. You have to know who you are. When I say know your talent, I'm going to say this and this alone. I was about to give up on my business that pays me. And then it eventually happened that I ended up unexpectedly going on business to South Africa. When I tell you, it was new life for me, because people who lived in another country and had never met me before, when they sat down and listened to me, when I heard what they said about me, and I've lost contact with a couple of them due to phone numbers and things are changing, but I pray that they will get to hear this, because they were the piece to the puzzle that kept me in the game, because I was being dismissed by so many people in my own town and in the place that I grew up in, making it seem as if what I was doing was not worthy enough as a business, just because I didn't have the capital, which means the money, just because I didn't have a lot of people in my circle that had degrees. But I began to feel defeated. And when I went to the motherland with people who love you for who you are, whether you have money or no money, it's all the same to them. They prayed over me. They spoke about me in ways where you would have thought that they knew me all my life. And you're going to get to see the content for it. I know that they think I have forgotten about them, but timing is everything. And they didn't even know I was going to record them. But when I heard what they were saying, I needed that for myself to be able to listen to it throughout the years. And so on the next random talk, I don't know when, but I'm going to share that content with you from South Africa, because I want you to hear what everyone had to say about me as a person, just who I am. So know who you are, believe in who you are, and you all have a special gift and a special talent. And I always wanted to sing. I wished I could sing. I used to be upset. I was like, why couldn't I have been blessed with a voice to sing? And I said this at my Women Inspire Women event, but I learned in my adulthood that my voice was not meant to sing. My voice was meant to speak like I mean it. And that is what I am doing. And as they told me in South Africa, I am the voice. So that is what I am here to do, and that is what I'm doing. I've been doing it all my life, but now I'm just doing it in front of this camera. So I hope all of this has helped you to feel better about yourself. Pat yourself on the back. Don't wait for anyone else to celebrate you. You celebrate yourself, just like I did today in this random talk. I have much love for you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for always tuning in. And until next time, you love yourself as much as you deserve to be loved. Mwah.